This audiobook reveals the hidden code that governs existence, the ancient truth that reality is not fixed but fluid, bending to the power of your consciousness. As you listen, you'll uncover the secret once guarded by mystics and quantum scientists alike. The universe mirrors your inner world with perfect precision. Are you ready to awaken and shape reality itself? Quantum Reality. Introduction. Through the ages, murmurs of a holy truth have resonated within the recesses of human awareness. This truth, scattered in pieces throughout various cultures, reveals a reality much more malleable than what we can see. The ancients recognized it, the seers protected it, and now you are on the brink of grasping it. Reality in its purest essence is not the rigid construct your senses report. It flows like water, bends like light, and transforms according to the observer's inner state. This knowledge, once the exclusive domain of temple priests and enlightened masters, now emerges from the shadows of history to illuminate your path. The universe operates through an intricate code, a divine algorithm that responds to human consciousness with unwavering precision. Every thought you harbor, every emotion you nurture, every belief you hold creates ripples in the fabric of existence. These ripples become the waves that shape your experience of life. Think of reality as a mirror, not one that reflects mere physical form, but one that echoes back the very essence of your inner world. The images you see, the circumstances you encounter, the opportunities that arise or fade, all are reflections of the thoughts and beliefs you carry within. This hidden code of reality reveals itself not through force, but through gentle awakening. It whispers its secrets to those who approach with open hearts and minds ready to expand beyond the familiar boundaries of perception. The ancient manuscript speaks of this truth not as something to be learned, but as something to be remembered. You have always known this truth at the deepest level of your being. It pulses through your veins, resonates in your dreams, and calls to you in moments of quiet reflection. The time has come to step beyond the veil of illusion, to recognize that you are not merely an observer of reality, but its active creator. The question now before you is not whether this power exists, but whether you are ready to embrace it fully. Part 1. Awakening to the Quantum Field. Chapter 1. The Holographic Illusion. Reality is not what you think. In the heart of an unchanging city lived a young man named Elijah. Each morning, he walked the same gray streets, passed the same weary faces, and endured the same dreary routines. The buildings stood like ancient sentinels, their facades worn by time and neglect. Until one day, beneath a weathered archway, he encountered an old drifter whose eyes sparkled with an otherworldly light. "This world you see," the drifter said, gesturing to the city around them, "is nothing but a reflection of your inner landscape. Change what lies within, and the mirror must shift to match it." Elijah scoffed at first, but something in the drifter's words took root in his mind. Over the following weeks, he began to experiment. He started small, choosing to see beauty where he had once seen decay. To his amazement, flowers began appearing in forgotten corners, their colors more vivid than any he had noticed before. When he chose to see opportunity instead of limitation, doors that had seemed permanently closed began to open. The truth you now encounter is both ancient and immediate. Reality is not the solid, unchangeable force you were taught to believe. It is a living, breathing field of energy that responds to your consciousness with perfect precision, The world of matter is merely the final expression of thought, the end point of a process that begins in the realm of pure potential. Quantum physics has unveiled what mystics have known for millennia, that the act of observation affects the observed. The universe exists as a vast sea of probability waves until consciousness interacts with it. Your expectations, beliefs, and perceptions collapse these waves into what you experience as reality. Consider the tale of Mason, who spent countless years in what he believed to be an impenetrable prison cell. Day after day, he plotted elaborate escapes, never once thinking to simply try the door. When finally, in a moment of clarity, he questioned his assumption of confinement, he discovered the door had never been locked. His prison had been built not of stone and steel, but of belief alone. Just as Mason's walls were self-imposed, the limitations you perceive in your life are sustained by your convictions about what is possible. The moment you shift these beliefs, reality must reorganize itself to reflect your new understanding. To begin working with this principle, engage in this ancient practice of reality transformation. Choose one limiting belief you hold about your life. For the next day, consciously adopt its opposite. If you believe opportunities are scarce, hold instead that opportunities are abundant. Document every instance where your external reality shifts to match your new perception. Watch as the mirror of existence reflects back your transformed understanding. Chapter 2. You are the observer, not the observed. In a remote mountain observatory, Henry devoted his nights to mapping the eternal dance of stars. His charts were precise, his calculations meticulous. Each celestial body had its place, unchanging and absolute, or so he believed. Until one night, as he gazed through his telescope, something extraordinary occurred. The stars, those ancient lights he had studied for decades, seemed to shift ever so slightly beneath his gaze. At first, he attributed it to faulty equipment or perhaps fatigue. But as he continued his observations, he noticed that the stars responded not to the laws of physics, but to the quality of his attention. When he looked with wonder, they blazed more brightly. When he observed with doubt, they dimmed and scattered. This truth extends beyond the stars to every aspect of your existence. The quantum realm has revealed that reality does not exist in a fixed state until it is observed. Your consciousness is not merely a passive witness. It is the very force that collapses infinite possibilities into manifest experience. What you choose to focus upon expands into your reality, while that which escapes your attention fades from your world. In a small studio in the heart of the city, Ben struggled to make ends meet as an artist. Each day, he painted scenes of the life he yearned to live. Sunlit galleries filled with admirers, a peaceful garden where he could create, prosperity flowing effortlessly. These visions poured from his brush onto canvas, seemingly mere dreams, until something remarkable began to unfold. First, a wealthy collector discovered his work. Then, a gallery space opened exactly where he had imagined it. One by one, the scenes from his paintings materialized in his life, until he could no longer distinguish whether his art had predicted these events or summoned them into being. Just as Ben's painting shaped his reality, your attention shapes the world around you. Every moment you stand before the canvas of existence, paintbrush in hand, your focus is that brush, and your awareness determines what manifests in your experience. To work with this principle, practice this ancient technique of conscious creation. Throughout your day, deliberately shift your focus. Spend 1 hour attending to signs of abundance, another hour noticing moments of joy, another seeking evidence of opportunity. Record how your reality transforms to match each shift in attention. Watch as the universe rearranges itself to bring into focus that which you choose to see. Chapter 3, The Quantum Web. Everything is connected. In a small village among ancient hills there lived a weaver named Caleb. Though blind from birth, his fingers possessed a wisdom that sight could never match. One morning, as he worked at his loom, an unfamiliar voice spoke from the doorway of his workshop. "Your hands know what your eyes cannot see," the woman said. She guided his fingers across the tapestry, teaching him to feel the invisible connections between each thread. Every fiber is joined to all others, just as all moments in time are woven together. As Caleb practiced this awareness, he discovered that by pulling one thread, he could feel the movement ripple through the entire work. Though his eyes saw nothing, his hands perceived the truth. Everything was connected. The universe operates precisely this way. Quantum physics has unveiled what mystics have known for millennia. Separation is an illusion. Each particle in existence remains eternally connected to all others, regardless of distance. When you shift one aspect of your life, you alter the entire fabric of reality. Your thoughts are not confined to your mind. They travel outward, interacting with the cosmic web that binds all things. Every intention you hold sends waves through this infinite network, creating patterns that manifest as your lived experience. Eleanor discovered this truth through a series of seemingly random events. It began when she thought of an old friend she hadn't seen in years. That afternoon, she received a letter from that very person. She noticed that whenever she focused intensely on something, a book, an opportunity, a solution, it would appear in unexpected ways. At first, she dismissed these as mere coincidences, but as she paid closer attention, she realized these synchronicities were forming a path, leading her toward experiences that perfectly aligned with her deepest intentions. The universe was responding to her thoughts, orchestrating events through an invisible web of connections. Your life operates within this same divine matrix. Every thought you release connects with corresponding energies, creating patterns that manifest as synchronistic events. These are not random occurrences, but evidence of your participation in the cosmic dance. To witness this principle in action, maintain a synchronicity journal for 7 days. Record every meaningful coincidence, every unexpected alignment, every moment when your thoughts seem to manifest in the physical world. Note the time, the nature of your thoughts beforehand, and the way these events connect to your deeper intentions. This practice will attune you to the subtle language of the universe, revealing how your consciousness shapes the fabric of reality. Chapter 4, The Universal Law of Vibration, the Key to Reality Bending. In a bustling town square, a young musician named Noah sat playing his violin. As the melody flowed, he observed something remarkable. When he played in minor keys, passers-by would slow their pace, their shoulders dropping with unseen weight. But as he shifted to major scales, their steps would lighten, faces brightening as though touched by sunlight. One evening, an elderly musician approached him. "You've discovered the secret," she whispered. "Everything in existence is music, a vast symphony of vibrations. Your notes simply make visible what is always present." She guided his hand across the violin strings. "Feel the vibration. This is the language of the universe. Every thought, every emotion, every particle of matter resonates at its own frequency. You're not creating these effects. You're revealing the hidden harmonies that bind all things." The truth lies within this ancient wisdom. You do not attract what you want, but what you are. Like a tuning fork that causes nearby objects to resonate at its frequency, your energetic state draws experiences that match your vibration. Wealth, love, success. These are not things to be pursued, but frequencies to be embodied. Every thought you hold, every emotion you experience creates a vibrational signature. The universe, responding to this frequency, arranges circumstances and events that mirror your internal state. When you understand this principle, you realize that changing your life begins with changing your energetic frequency. In a small village, a blacksmith named Dylan discovered this truth through his craft. He noticed that each tool in his shop produced a different tone when struck. The heavy hammer rang deep and low, while smaller tools sang higher notes. More intriguingly, he observed that tools of similar material would begin to vibrate in sympathy with each other. As Dylan contemplated this phenomenon, he began to recognize the same principle at work in his daily life. When he approached his work with frustration, problems would multiply. But when he maintained a state of calm confidence, solutions would appear effortlessly. His life wasn't responding to his actions, but to his frequency. To align yourself with this universal law, practice this ancient frequency tuning ritual. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and recall a moment when you felt completely aligned with your desires, a time of pure joy, abundance, or peace. Allow this feeling to fill your entire being. Notice how your body responds, how your breath changes, how your energy shifts. Maintain this state for several minutes. Then open your eyes and move through your day holding this frequency. Watch as the external world begins to reflect your new vibration. Chapter 5, Thought Alchemy, How Ideas Become Reality. In a sunlit monastery, a scribe named Samuel spent his days recording the stories of travelers who passed through. With each tale he penned, he noticed an unusual pattern. The stories he wrote seemed to echo in his own life. When he wrote of merchants finding fortune, coins would appear in unexpected places. When he documented tales of healing, his own ailments would fade. One day Samuel attempted to alter the records of his past mistakes, scratching out words that brought him shame. Yet the ink remained steadfast, resistant to change. An elder monk observed his frustration and shared a truth. The past cannot be erased, but your understanding of it can be transformed. Your thoughts are not mere reflections, they are blueprints for what is to come. Your mind is the architect of your reality. Each thought you hold shapes the foundation of your experience, just as each word Samuel wrote influenced the unfolding of his days. The subconscious mind serves as the universal printing press, turning your deepest beliefs into tangible reality. In a distant village, a young boy named Owen stood beneath a starlit sky. As a shooting star streaked across the heavens, he closed his eyes and made a wish. The next morning, his mother asked what he had wished for. To his amazement, Owen realized his wish had already manifested, not because the star had granted it, but because he had finally opened his eyes to see what was already present. Your thoughts are seeds planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. Like Owen, you may discover that what you seek has always existed, waiting only for your recognition. The garden of your life flourishes according to the seeds you plant and tend. To harness this wisdom, practice this ancient technique. Take a blank journal and write of your future as though it exists now. Describe in vivid detail the life you wish to create, using present tense. I am rather than I will be. Write of your achievements, your joys, your abundance as current reality. Do this daily, observing how your mind begins to align circumstances to match your written vision. Chapter 6, The Observer's Secret, the Power That Changes Reality. Along the banks of an ancient river where wisdom flows as freely as water, lived a fisherman named Everett. Each dawn found him perched upon weathered rocks, casting his nets into the flowing waters, believing himself separate from the force that moved beneath his boat. One misty morning, an old traveler appeared beside him, his eyes holding the depth of ages. "The river does not move on its own," the traveler spoke softly. "It moves as you do." Everett dismissed these words at first, for surely the river followed its own path, independent of his thoughts. Yet something in the traveler's words took root in his mind. As days passed, Everett began to observe the water with new awareness. To his astonishment, he noticed subtle changes in the current that seemed to mirror his own state of being. When his thoughts were turbulent, the waters churned. In moments of peace, the river flowed with gentle grace. The quantum field responds to consciousness itself. Your mere observation shapes and stabilizes reality into form. What you expect to see manifests before your eyes, for attention itself is the force that brings possibility into existence. This is the hidden mechanism behind all manifestation. The act of observation collapses infinite potential into specific experience. In a village among ancient hills lived a boy named Finn. Each morning he would gaze into the still waters of a lake, convinced that the reflection he saw was somehow false. The surface seemed to shift and change, never showing him quite what he expected to see. One day an elder of the village found him frowning at his reflection. "The lake only shows you what you expect to see," the elder revealed. At first, Finn rejected this idea, but curiosity led him to experiment. He approached the water with different emotions, with joy, with doubt, with peace, and watched in wonder as his reflection transformed to match each inner state. Just as Finn discovered, your reality mirrors your deepest assumptions. Whatever you hold as truth in your mind becomes manifest in your experience. The world you see is not separate from the consciousness observing it. To work with this principle, find a quiet space and close your eyes. For 10 minutes, hold in your mind a clear image of your desired reality. See it with unwavering attention, as though watching a scene unfold before you. Notice every detail, every sensation. Then, open your eyes and observe how the world around you begins to shift in response to this focused observation. Chapter 7. The Power of Present Moment Awareness. In a small workshop filled with the gentle ticking of countless timepieces lived a watchmaker named Jesse. His life revolved around the precise measurement of seconds, minutes, and hours. Each morning he would meticulously adjust his instruments, seeking absolute perfection in their rhythmic dance. One day a peculiar traveler entered his shop. Jesse noticed immediately that the stranger wore no watch, carried no timepiece. "How do you know when to be where?" Jesse asked, perplexed. The traveler smiled. "Time is not what you think it is," he said, gesturing to the wall of ticking clocks. "It moves differently for each soul, stretching and bending like silk in the wind." The power to shape reality exists only in the present moment. The past lives solely in memory, while the future remains a projection of thought. When you truly enter the now, you access the quantum field directly. This is where manifestation occurs, not in some distant future, but in this eternal present. In a bustling city, there lived a man named Travis who constantly raced against time. His days were a blur of appointments, deadlines, and commitments. "There's never enough time," he would say, checking his watch obsessively. One afternoon, while rushing through a park, he encountered an elder sitting peacefully on a bench. "Why do you run?" the elder asked. Time moves according to your belief in it. Travis paused, skeptical. The elder continued, "When you believe you have time, the world adjusts its pace. Your fear of running out of time creates exactly that experience." Over the following weeks, Travis experimented with this wisdom. To his amazement, he discovered that when he released his anxiety about time, his days expanded. Tasks that once felt rushed now flowed with ease. Your relationship with time shapes your entire timeline. What you experience as past, present, and future bends in response to your state of consciousness in this moment. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Remove all distractions. No phones, no clocks, no interruptions. Close your eyes and bring your attention fully into this moment. Notice your breath, the sensations in your body, the sounds around you. Observe how time seems to slow down or speed up as you shift your awareness. Practice this for 15 minutes, allowing yourself to experience time not as a rigid line, but as a fluid field responding to your consciousness. Chapter 8. The Hidden Structure of Time and Reality Loops. In a quiet town where every day seemed like the last, there lived a man named Sawyer. One morning, he woke to find himself experiencing the strangest sensation. Every moment felt as though it had happened before. The coffee he spilled, the red car that passed him on his way to work, even the exact words spoken by his colleague, all played out as if following an invisible script. As he sat in the park during his lunch break, an enigmatic figure appeared beside him. "You have lived this day before," the stranger said without introduction, "and you will live it again until you change the thoughts that created it." Time flows not in a straight line, but in patterns shaped by your consciousness. Those who feel trapped in cycles of repetition are experiencing a loop in their timeline created by unchanged thoughts and emotions. Like a record playing the same groove, reality mirrors back the vibration you maintain. When you notice patterns repeating in your life, similar relationships, familiar challenges, recurring situations, understand that these are not coincidences. They are reflections of thoughts and beliefs that remain constant within you. To step into a new timeline requires a shift in your inner world. In a distant city, a writer named Leo struggled with his latest novel. Each time he approached the ending, the story would somehow reset itself, refusing to be concluded. He rewrote the final chapter countless times, yet something always felt incomplete. One night, as he stared at his manuscript, understanding dawned. The story couldn't end because he hadn't changed. His character's journey mirrored his own unresolved patterns, and until he transformed himself, the narrative would remain stuck in its loop. Your external reality will continue to repeat until your internal reality shifts. The key to breaking free lies not in changing the circumstances, but in transforming the consciousness that creates them. Like a mirror reflecting back your deepest beliefs, the world around you faithfully reproduces what exists within. This eternal law of consciousness has guided seekers throughout the ages. To alter your outer world, you must first journey within and transmute the very essence of your being. Only then will the mirror show you a new reflection. Take a moment now to reflect on the patterns in your life. What situations keep recurring? What types of relationships or challenges appear repeatedly? On a piece of paper, write down these patterns. Then, beneath each one, identify the thought or belief that might be sustaining this loop. Finally, craft a new thought pattern, one that breaks the cycle and opens the door to a different timeline. Hold this new thought in your consciousness for several minutes, feeling it as though it were already true. Practice this daily, watching as your reality begins to shift in response to your transformed awareness. Chapter 9. The Quantum Shift: How to Jump Timelines. In the vast expanse of the desert, where mirages dance on the horizon, a merchant named Wyatt stumbled upon a peculiar house. Its weathered walls held numerous doors, each seemingly leading to a different destination. With his water supply running low and the sun beating mercilessly overhead, he chose the first door, hoping to find shelter. To his bewilderment, he entered only to find himself in the same room. He tried another door and another, each time returning to the same starting point. As frustration mounted, an elder appeared, sitting quietly in the corner of the room. "The doors do not change," the elder spoke softly. "You do. The reality you seek to enter already exists. Like infinite radio stations broadcasting simultaneously, every possible version of your life plays out across the quantum field. You do not need to create what you desire, you need only tune yourself to its frequency. Think of existence as an infinite house of mirrors, each reflection a different timeline. Your consciousness is the walker in this house, choosing which reflection to step into. The path to your desires does not require building something new. It requires becoming someone new. In a distant land, a traveler named Nathan sought a legendary village. For days he wandered, encountering nothing but dead ends and circular paths. Exhausted, he rested beneath an ancient tree where an old woman sat. "The path you seek is not ahead of you," she revealed, her eyes twinkling with ancient wisdom. "It is beneath your feet, waiting for you to step into it." Nathan looked down, puzzled. "I see only dust and stone." "Because you remain the one who cannot find the way," she replied. "Become the one who has already arrived." The universe does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. Every desire you hold exists in a reality where a version of you has already claimed it. The secret lies not in reaching for what you seek, but in embodying the self who has already received it. Close your eyes now. Breathe deeply and allow your awareness to settle into stillness. Picture your desired reality in vivid detail, not as something to achieve, but as something that already exists. Feel the emotions, thoughts, and sensations of being that version of yourself. What does this version of you think? How do they move through the world? What beliefs do they hold? Spend 10 minutes fully embodying this self, knowing that as you do, you align with the timeline where your desires already manifest. Chapter 10. Unlocking the Quantum Doorway. In the heart of an ancient city, there lived a locksmith named Rhett, whose fingers knew the secrets of every lock and key. One morning, a mysterious figure appeared at his workshop, presenting him with a key unlike any he had ever seen. Its surface gleamed with an otherworldly sheen, and its teeth formed patterns that defied conventional design. "This key opens the greatest treasure in existence," the stranger whispered, before vanishing into the morning mist. For years, Rhett searched every corner of the world, testing the key in countless locks. He scaled mountains, crossed oceans, and ventured into forgotten temples. But no door would yield to this mysterious key. Until one day, exhausted and defeated, he realized the truth. The key was never meant for any physical door. It was meant for his mind. You see, the universe operates not through force, but through alignment. Like water finding its natural course, reality flows most freely when you cease struggling against it. The more you attempt to bend the quantum field to your will, the more it resists your touch. True mastery lies not in controlling reality, but in dancing with it. In the ancient scrolls of quantum wisdom, it is written that the field responds not to demand, but to resonance. When you align with the frequency of your desires, they naturally flow into your experience. The key to manifestation is not in the pushing, but in the allowing. Consider now the tale of Asher, a young traveler who received a peculiar gift, a map without markings. The elder who bestowed it spoke these words, "The path appears when the heart decides." For days Asher stared at the blank parchment, afraid to make a choice. But in one moment of crystal clarity, when he finally decided his destination, lines began appearing on the map. Rivers, mountains, and paths emerged before his eyes, showing him the way forward. Just as Asher's map responded to his choice, the quantum field responds to your clarity. The paths to all possibilities already exist. They simply await your decision to walk them. Now close your eyes. Feel the weight of control dissolving from your shoulders. Let go of the need to force outcomes. Allow your breath to become deep and natural. With each exhale, release the tension of trying to make things happen. Feel yourself becoming like water, flowing naturally toward your desires. Trust that the universe knows the perfect path, and your only task is to remain in this state of allowing. This ancient practice of surrender opens doors that force could never breach. In releasing control, you gain true power, the power to align with the natural flow of creation itself. Part 2. Quantum Mechanics of Creation. Chapter 11. The Vibrational Key to Parallel Realities. In the bustling heart of a timeless city, a young musician named Logan sat in his cramped apartment, wrestling with an old radio. His fingers moved across the dial with increasing frustration, searching for the perfect station through waves of static. The music he yearned for seemed just out of reach, obscured by interference and noise. One evening, as shadows lengthened across the city park, Logan encountered an old man sitting on a weathered bench. The stranger's eyes held a knowing gleam as he watched Logan fidget with the portable radio. "The station you want is already playing. You just have to tune in," the old man said softly. Logan paused, letting these words sink in. With renewed patience, he turned the dial with gentle precision. Suddenly, clear music filled the air, exactly the melody he had been seeking all along. In this moment of clarity, you too must understand, every possible version of reality already exists, broadcasting continuously across the infinite spectrum of existence. You need not create what you desire, it already exists in perfect form. Your task is simply to tune your being to its frequency. Your thoughts, emotions, and expectations serve as the dial of consciousness. When you shift these elements, you naturally align with different broadcasts of reality. Consider now the tale of Nora, rushing breathlessly through crowded streets, desperate to catch a departing train. No matter how quickly she ran, the train always seemed to pull away just as she reached the platform. Exhausted and discouraged, she encountered a stranger who shared a simple truth. You are trying to reach something that is not on your track. Step onto the right platform, and it will come to you. In this moment, Nora understood. She had been forcing herself toward an experience that did not match her current frequency. The moment she shifted her energy, the right train appeared effortlessly before her. The universe operates as a grand broadcasting station, transmitting infinite possibilities simultaneously. You do not chase experiences. You align with them. Your vibrational state determines which reality becomes visible in your experience. Practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Focus on a specific emotion, perhaps joy, peace, or abundance. Let this feeling saturate your being completely. Hold this state for several minutes, allowing your entire frequency to shift. Throughout your day, observe how different experiences begin aligning with this new vibration. Notice the subtle ways reality reshapes itself to match your energetic broadcast. Chapter 12. The Quantum Code. Deciphering the Universe's Hidden Language. In a dimly lit study filled with ancient manuscripts and mathematical equations, Daniel traced his fingers across mysterious symbols etched in weathered stone. For years, he had devoted himself to decoding what he believed were the mathematical secrets of existence, convinced that the universe spoke purely in numbers and formulas. One evening, as shadows danced across his calculations, a mystic appeared at his door. With eyes that seemed to hold centuries of wisdom, she gazed at his work and spoke softly. "The universe is not speaking to you in numbers, but in patterns." Initially dismissing her words, Daniel continued his rigid mathematical pursuit. Yet slowly, he began noticing something extraordinary. The number 333 appeared on clocks just as he contemplated important decisions. Strangers would mention exactly what he had been thinking about. Books would fall open to pages containing precise answers he sought. You must understand that the universe communicates constantly through a language more subtle than words, more fluid than mathematics. Every synchronicity you encounter is a message, every pattern a sign, every coincidence a carefully orchestrated response to your inner state. Consider now the tale of Hannah, who walked the same path to work each morning. Day after day, white feathers appeared on her route. "Just birds," she would tell herself, stepping past these gentle messengers without a second thought. Until one day, a stranger stopped her and said simply, "You are being guided." Something shifted in Hannah's awareness. She began collecting the feathers, noting where they appeared. Each one led her to an unexpected encounter, a crucial insight, or an opportunity she might have missed. The feathers became her compass, guiding her toward possibilities she had never imagined. The field of reality is alive with meaning. What appears random is actually intricately orchestrated. Every repeated number, every unexpected encounter, every strange coincidence is the universe reflecting your consciousness back to you. Practice. Begin a synchronicity journal. Each day, record the patterns you notice, repeated numbers, recurring themes, unexpected alignments of events. Note the thoughts you were holding when these synchronicities appeared. Over time, you will begin to recognize the unique way the universe speaks to you, developing a personal dictionary of meaningful signs and symbols. This awareness will transform your reality from a series of random events into a meaningful dialogue with the infinite. Chapter 13. The Role of Emotion in Quantum Manifestation. In the mountains where ancient wisdom still whispers through the pines, a young boy named Charlie learned the sacred art of fire making from his teacher. Each morning, as dawn painted the sky in gentle hues, they would gather dried leaves and twigs. The teacher showed Charlie how to create a spark, but more importantly, how to nurture it into flame. "Too much breath will kill the spark," the teacher cautioned as Charlie blew eagerly at the ember. "Too little, and it will die from neglect. Watch carefully. The fire responds to your patience, your control." Day after day, Charlie practiced. He noticed that when his emotions ran high with frustration, the spark would fade. But when he approached with calm determination, even the smallest ember would grow into a steady flame. Your emotions work the same way. They ignite reality, but only if you control them, his teacher explained. The power of emotion shapes the very fabric of existence. Like Charlie's fire, your desires require more than mere intention. They need the fuel of properly channeled feeling. When you approach manifestation with uncontrolled emotion, the energy scatters. But when you direct your feelings with precision, reality bends to your will with remarkable speed. Consider now the tale of Isla, who lived in a village where storms would rage without warning. One day, she was tasked with carrying a full cup of water through such a tempest. As the wind howled and thunder cracked, her initial fear caused the water to splash and spill. But then she remembered her grandmother's words about emotional mastery. Isla took a deep breath and centered herself. Though the storm raged on, her newfound calm created a strange bubble of peace around her. To the amazement of onlookers, she walked through the worst of the weather without spilling another drop. Your emotional state is the foundation of your creative power. Like Isla's cup, your manifestations remain stable when you maintain inner equilibrium. Chaos in the outer world need not disturb your inner waters. Practice. Sit quietly and envision your desired reality. Begin with a gentle focus, like nurturing a small flame. Gradually intensify the emotions associated with your vision, not through force, but through steady cultivation. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the absolute certainty of its existence. Let these feelings grow naturally until they fill your entire being. Practice this daily, noting how reality responds to different emotional frequencies. Your power lies not in the intensity of your desire, but in the stability of your emotional signal. Chapter 14. The Collapse of Limiting Beliefs. In the quiet depths of a moonlit workshop, Jack labored tirelessly at his inventions, each creation falling just short of the breakthrough he sought. Night after night, his genius sparked and flickered, but something invisible held him back. Then came the dream that would transform his understanding forever. A figure, shimmering like starlight, appeared before him. "Look up," the figure commanded. Jack raised his eyes to discover a vast glass ceiling stretching endlessly above. "You think you are trapped," the figure said, "but the ceiling is only there because you expect it to be." In that moment, Jack understood. The barrier had no substance. It was merely the crystallization of his own doubt. As this realization dawned, the glass began to crack, and with one final release of his limiting thoughts, it shattered into stardust. You too stand beneath such a ceiling. The quantum field holds infinite possibilities, yet you experience only those you believe possible. Your thoughts create invisible barriers that appear as solid as steel, but they are as fragile as morning frost in summer sun. The ancient masters knew this truth. Reality conforms not to what is, but to what you believe to be. Each limitation in your life exists only because you have accepted it as real. The moment you withdraw your belief, the barrier dissolves. Consider now the tale of Sophia and her caged bird. Finding an injured sparrow, she crafted a beautiful cage to shelter it while it healed. Days turned to weeks, weeks to years, and still the bird remained. Then one morning, while cleaning the cage, Sophia discovered something remarkable. The door had never been latched. The bird had stayed, not from imprisonment, but from habit and belief. Like Sophia's bird, you may find yourself contained by barriers that exist only in your mind. The door to your desired reality stands open, waiting for you to recognize your freedom to walk through it. Practice. Take a moment now to identify a belief that limits you, a thought that has become like iron bars around your potential. Write it down with complete honesty, feeling its weight and substance, observing how it has shaped your choices and experiences until now. Now, with the same pen but with renewed purpose, craft a new belief that empowers you, one that aligns perfectly with the reality you wish to experience. Let it reflect the truth of who you really are, not who you have been conditioned to be. For 7 days, each morning as the sun rises and each evening as it sets, consciously release the old belief like a bird taking wing. Then, with conviction and faith, embrace the new one, letting it sink deep into your consciousness. Feel it becoming more real with each passing day. Watch as the glass ceiling above you begins to crack, revealing the infinite sky beyond, a vast expanse of possibility that has always been there, waiting for you to claim it as your own. Chapter 15, Quantum Visualization, Seeing the Unseen. In a town where mountains met horizon, young Ryan lived within the boundaries of what others told him was possible. Each day he walked the same streets, saw the same faces, until the world seemed no larger than his daily routines. Then came the day he discovered the window. Hidden in an abandoned tower at the edge of town, its glass shimmered with an otherworldly gleam. As Ryan approached, images began to form, distant cities, vast oceans, and possibilities he had never imagined. An elder appeared beside him, his voice carrying the weight of ages. "You can only go where you have the vision to see," the elder said. "This window shows not what is, but what could be, if you dare to imagine it." Your mind operates like Ryan's window. It previews the reality you will step into. The quantum field responds not to what you want, but to what you can vividly imagine. Each clear vision you hold becomes a beacon, drawing that reality closer to manifestation. In the realm of consciousness, seeing precedes being. The masters of old understood this principle. Visualization is not mere fantasy. It is the blueprint from which reality takes form. When you close your eyes and clearly see your desire, you collapse infinite possibilities into definite form. Now witness Zoe's revelation in the ancient theater. As she watched performers shift between roles, a stranger leaned close and whispered, "This is your life. You are the director. If you don't like the story, rewrite the script." The truth dawned on Zoe. Each scene in her life was not predetermined, but awaiting her direction. She held the power to recast the players, reshape the dialogue, and transform the entire production. Practice. Find a quiet space where you will remain undisturbed. Close your eyes and allow your mind to settle. Now, with deliberate intention, begin to craft the scene of your desired reality. See it with such clarity that every detail becomes vivid, the colors, sounds, textures, and emotions. For the next 21 days, spend 15 minutes each morning rehearsing this scene in your mind. Feel it as though it is happening now. Let your body experience the emotions of already having what you desire. This is not mere practice. It is programming the quantum field, instructing it in the reality you choose to manifest. As you maintain this practice, watch how your external world begins to mirror what you have rehearsed within. For just as an actor becomes the character through repeated rehearsal, you become the version of yourself that exists in that reality through consistent visualization. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 16. The Power of Expectation and Certainty. In a distant village where wisdom was passed through generations like precious gems, lived a young man named Eli. The elders presented him with an ornate chest, its surface adorned with ancient symbols. "Within lies a treasure beyond measure," they told him. but the lock responds only to absolute certainty. For months, Eli attempted every method to open the chest. He studied the mechanisms, consulted wise men, and even tried to force it open. Yet the lock remained steadfast. One evening, as he sat with the chest, something shifted within him. He ceased questioning whether he could open it and simply knew it was already his. In that moment of pure certainty, the lock released with a gentle click. You, like Eli, hold the key to unlocking every desire within your heart. The universe operates on an immutable law. Expectation solidifies reality. When you move beyond hoping and wanting into absolute knowing, the quantum field has no choice but to align with your certainty. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the fundamental mechanism by which reality takes form. Consider now the tale of Mia, whose unwavering faith illuminated more than just her path. In a storm that threatened to extinguish every light, she held a single candle. Those around her insisted the flame would die, but Mia knew differently. While other lights flickered and failed, her flame burned steady, protected by nothing more than her absolute certainty that it would endure. Your reality mirrors your deepest expectations. When doubt creeps in, reality wavers. When certainty takes hold, reality stabilizes. This is why two people can face the same circumstance, yet experience entirely different outcomes. Their expectations shape their individual realities. Sacred practice. Begin each morning with this ancient ritual of certainty. Sit in silence and bring to mind your desired outcome. Now shift your awareness from wanting it to knowing it is already yours. Feel the certainty in your body, the calm assurance that what you seek is already manifesting. Throughout your day, whenever doubt arises, return to this state of knowing. Practice expecting your desire as naturally as you expect the sun to rise. This is not forcing or pretending. It is aligning with the truth that already exists in the quantum field. For 7 days, maintain this unwavering expectation as though it were as natural as breathing. Watch how reality begins to bend around your certainty, just as the lock yielded to Eli's knowing, just as the flame remained steady in Mia's unshakable faith. Let each moment strengthen your conviction, for the universe responds not to fleeting wishes, but to the deep-seated knowing that resides in your soul. As you move through these 7 days, you will notice subtle shifts, synchronicities that confirm your alignment with the divine order, small miracles that validate your unwavering faith. Chapter 17. Reality Hacking. Manifesting in Real Time. In the bustling streets of an ancient marketplace, a young magician named Connor practiced his craft, entertaining passers-by with simple illusions. One evening, as the crowds thinned and shadows lengthened, a mysterious traveler approached his small wooden stage. "Your tricks are skillful," the traveler said, "but you have yet to grasp the greatest illusion of all, reality itself." The traveler extended his weathered hand, revealing a golden coin that caught the last rays of sunlight. "If you expect it to disappear, it will." Connor accepted the coin with a skeptical smile, feeling its weight, solid and unmistakably real. He tossed it upward, as he had done countless times before, but this time something extraordinary occurred. The coin vanished mid-air, leaving not even a glimmer behind. You see, reality operates much like Connor's coin. It shifts and transforms based on your expectations. What appears solid and unchangeable is merely energy responding to your focus. The world around you reshapes itself moment by moment, adapting to your assumptions with the fluidity of water. Consider now the tale of Lena, who found herself lost in an ancient maze. Before her stood a door, sometimes visible, sometimes not. Each time doubt clouded her mind, the door would fade like morning mist. Yet when she held firm to her knowing, the door remained solid and real. Through this experience, Lena discovered a truth that had eluded her. Reality responds not to what you wish for, but to what you know to be true. These stories reveal a profound truth. You need not wait for gradual change. Reality can shift in an instant, just as Connor's coin vanished in midair. Your perception, coupled with unwavering certainty, creates immediate alterations in the fabric of existence. Sacred practice. Choose a simple sign, perhaps a specific color, symbol, or number. Know with absolute certainty that you will encounter this sign within the next few hours. Do not hope or wish. Know. Feel the certainty in your bones, as natural as knowing the sun will set. Then release your attention from it entirely and go about your day. Watch how quickly reality rearranges itself to confirm your expectation. This practice, passed down through generations of masters, demonstrates the immediate responsiveness of the universe to your consciousness. Like Connor's coin and Lena's door, your chosen sign will manifest with a speed that may surprise you, proving that reality is far more fluid than you once believed. The ancient sages understood this profound truth, that the world around you is not fixed and immutable, but rather a divine reflection of your inner certainty. When you grasp this principle fully, you begin to see that every moment holds the potential for transformation, and that the universe stands ready to respond to your unwavering knowing with swift and decisive confirmation. Chapter 18: The Art of Intentional Reality Bending. In the shadows of an ancient temple where wisdom was passed from master to student through the ages, lived a young apprentice named Ethan. Each morning, as the sun rose over the eastern wall, he watched his shadow stretch across the courtyard stones. His teacher, observing his fascination, shared a truth that would transform his understanding. Your shadow does not move of its own accord. It moves as you do. The master set before Ethan a challenge that seemed simple yet proved profound: to change the length of his shadow at will. For days, Ethan struggled, attempting to manipulate the shadow directly. He pushed, pulled, and commanded, but the shadow remained stubbornly unchanged. Frustration mounted until, in a moment of surrender, he realized the shadow was not his to control, but to guide. When Ethan finally stopped forcing and began moving in harmony with the light, his shadow responded effortlessly, stretching and contracting with his every motion. In that moment, he grasped a fundamental truth about the nature of reality itself. You see, reality behaves much like Ethan's shadow. It responds not to force, but to alignment. The more you struggle to control circumstances, the more they resist your will. Yet when you move in harmony with the natural flow of creation, reality bends effortlessly to match your state of being. Consider now the tale of Harper, a young girl who spent her afternoons by a crystal-clear pond. One day she noticed something remarkable about the water's response to her touch. When she moved her hand forcefully, the water splashed and scattered, creating chaos. But when she guided her hand gently through the surface, the ripples followed her movement with perfect precision, creating patterns of extraordinary beauty. Through Harper's discovery, you glimpse another aspect of this eternal truth. Reality is not something to be conquered or controlled. Like water, it responds to subtle influence rather than force. The gentler your touch, the more profound your impact. Sacred practice. Choose a simple event in your immediate future, perhaps a conversation or a minor circumstance. Rather than trying to force a specific outcome, simply hold the quiet knowing that it will unfold in your favor. Feel this certainty in your being, but do not grasp at it. Like Ethan with his shadow, or Harper with her ripples, allow your intention to guide rather than force. Watch as reality naturally aligns with your assumption, creating the very outcome you envisioned. Chapter 19, The Mirror Principle, Life Reflects You. In an opulent palace adorned with gold and precious stones, there lived a king named Grayson who commanded armies and ruled vast territories. Each morning, he would stand before his golden mirror, expecting to see the reflection of a powerful ruler. Yet day after day, he found himself staring at the image of a tired, weak man with hollow eyes. Enraged by this perceived defiance, Grayson ordered every mirror in the kingdom to be brought before him. He shattered countless reflective surfaces, each time convinced that the next would show him as he wished to be seen. But whether the mirror was crafted from polished silver or the finest crystal, the reflection remained unchanged, weary, uncertain, diminished. Until one day an ancient sage visited his court and whispered a truth that pierced his heart. The mirror does not lie. It simply shows you what you are. Your external reality operates precisely like Grayson's mirror. It reflects back to you the exact frequency you emit. When you feel powerless within, the world shows you circumstances that match that vibration. When you radiate strength, your reality shifts to mirror that power. Consider now the tale of Jade, who ventured into a vast canyon seeking answers from the ancient rocks. She called out her frustrations, her doubts, her fears, and the canyon faithfully returned each word. Angry at hearing her own negativity echoed back, she shouted louder, only to have her increased volume reflected with perfect accuracy. Then, in a moment of understanding, Jade softened her voice and spoke words of gratitude and peace. The canyon, true to its nature, returned these gentle utterances with the same fidelity. Through this experience, she discovered that the echo was neither friend nor foe. It was simply a perfect mirror of what she projected. Sacred practice. Take a moment now to examine your life circumstances. What situations keep repeating? What patterns persist? These are not random occurrences. They are precise reflections of your inner world. Choose one area that you wish to transform. Rather than attempting to change the external circumstance, shift your internal state. Hold this new frequency for 7 days, watching as your reality begins to echo your transformed energy. Like Grayson's mirror and Jade's canyon, your world will reflect back to you exactly what you are, not what you wish to be. The power to change your reality has always resided within you. Every circumstance, every relationship, every opportunity or challenge that manifests in your life is a precise reflection of your inner state of being. Just as water takes the shape of its container, your external world molds itself to match your deepest beliefs, thoughts, and vibrations. This universal truth has guided seekers of wisdom since the dawn of consciousness. The outer realm is but an echo of the inner sanctuary. Chapter 20. Quantum Identity Collapse, Dissolving the Old You. In a bustling theater district, where the lines between illusion and reality often blurred, there lived an actor named Sebastian. From his earliest days on stage, he had worn a mask, not just during performances but in every moment of his life. The mask, crafted from years of expectations and fears, had become so familiar that he believed it was his true face. Night after night, Sebastian would don different masks for different roles, Yet underneath them all remained the same protective shield he had worn since youth. "This is who I must be," he would tell himself. "This is what keeps me safe." One evening, as he prepared for yet another performance, an elder appeared in his dressing room. With eyes that seemed to peer through all pretense, the elder spoke. "You cannot step into your true role while wearing the old one." These words struck Sebastian like a thunderbolt. With trembling hands, he reached for his mask, not the theatrical one, but the invisible one he had worn for so long. As he removed it, he discovered something extraordinary. Beneath the mask, he had already become the person he had always wished to be. You, like Sebastian, may be wearing masks that once served a purpose but now limit your expansion. The quantum field holds infinite versions of you, each one vibrating at a different frequency, each one living a different reality. The version you currently embody determines which reality you experience. Consider now the tale of Rachel, who journeyed far to seek wisdom from a renowned sage. Upon arriving, she eagerly began to share her knowledge and expectations. But the sage simply handed her an empty cup and spoke these words: "You must empty what was before you can receive what is." Rachel stared at the cup, understanding dawning in her heart. All her preconceptions, all her old ways of being, filled her to the brim. There was no room for new wisdom until she released the old. Like water seeking its level, truth can only flow into spaces that welcome it. Her journey to the sage had not been merely about gaining more knowledge. It was about creating sacred space within herself, letting go of the familiar comfort of her certainties so that divine wisdom could take root and flourish. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes and visualize your current identity, all the beliefs, patterns, and behaviors that define who you think you are. Now imagine this identity dissolving like mist in the morning sun. Feel yourself becoming empty, like Rachel's cup. From this space of emptiness, allow your desired self to emerge naturally. Step fully into this new identity, feeling its vibration, its thoughts, its way of being. Spend time each day inhabiting this new self until it becomes more real than the old. Part 3. Mastering the Art of Quantum Creation. Chapter 21. The Quantum Flow State. Becoming a Master Creator. Along the banks of a rushing river where ancient trees whispered secrets of the ages, lived Adrian, an apprentice to a master boatmaker. Each morning he would take his vessel onto the turbulent waters, muscles straining against the current, determination etched upon his face. Yet no matter how hard he fought, the river seemed to mock his efforts, tossing his boat like a leaf in the wind. One misty dawn, his mentor appeared on the shore, watching Adrian's desperate struggle. "You do not command the river," the master called out, his voice carrying across the waters. "You merge with it." Adrian, exhausted from his battle, finally released his grip on the oars. In that moment of surrender, something extraordinary happened. His boat began to move in perfect harmony with the flow. You, like Adrian, may find yourself fighting against the currents of life, believing that force and control will lead you to your desires. Yet the quantum field operates not through dominance, but through alignment. When you cease struggling and allow yourself to merge with the natural flow of universal energy, manifestation occurs effortlessly. In the heart of an ancient city, there lived a dancer named Amelia. Night after night, she would practice her routines, forcing each movement with rigid precision. But her dance remained mechanical, lifeless. Until Until one evening, as the moon cast silver light through the studio windows, she simply closed her eyes and allowed the music to move through her. In that moment of pure trust, her body found a grace she had never known, flowing like water, moving like wind. The universe operates like a grand dance with rhythms and patterns beyond our conscious understanding. When you try to control every step, you stumble. But when you surrender to the natural flow, trusting that your desires are already in motion, you move in perfect harmony with creation. Like a leaf carried gently downstream, you need not fight against the current of divine timing. The cosmic choreography has already accounted for your part in this eternal ballet. Your role is not to force the steps, but to attune yourself to the sublime rhythm that has been orchestrating existence since the dawn of time. In this sacred dance of manifestation, your trust becomes the very key that unlocks the door to infinite possibility. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and bring to mind something you have been struggling to manifest. Feel the tension in your body as you think about forcing this desire into being. Now consciously release that tension, breathe deeply and affirm, I trust in the perfect unfolding of my desire. I release the need to control and allow the universe to move through me. Feel yourself merging with the flow of life, knowing that what you seek is already in motion. Practice this surrender daily, allowing the quantum field to arrange circumstances in ways far more magnificent than your mind could plan. Chapter 22. The Zero-Point Field, the Gateway to Infinite Possibilities. In the heart of an ancient monastery, where time seemed to pause between breaths, lived Isaac, a seeker whose quest for knowledge had led him across countless lands. Each day, he would study texts, debate with scholars, and pursue wisdom through endless activity. Yet the more he moved, the further truth seemed to slip away. One evening, an elder found him poring over scrolls in the candlelight. The answers you seek are not in movement, the elder whispered, but in stillness. Isaac dismissed these words at first, continuing his relentless pursuit. Years passed until exhaustion finally brought him to surrender. In that moment of complete stillness, he discovered that within nothingness, everything existed. The zero-point field is not a concept to be grasped, but a state to be entered. It is the pure potential that exists before manifestation, the quantum void where all possibilities coexist. When you enter deep presence, you touch this field of infinite potential. Like a clear pool undisturbed by ripples, it holds within its depths every reality you could imagine. In a distant temple stood a room that few dared to enter. Naomi, driven by an unquenchable thirst for understanding, stepped across its threshold. The room, it was said, held all answers to all questions. For hours, she spoke her questions into the silence, growing increasingly frustrated as no response came. Finally, exhausted, she fell quiet. In that moment of perfect stillness, wisdom arose from within her like a flower opening to the sun. Your mind, with its constant chatter and endless stream of thoughts, creates waves that distort the surface of pure consciousness. Like ripples disturbing a tranquil lake, these mental movements obscure the crystal-clear depths below. Only in silence, when the waters of your mind grow still, can you perceive the deeper truths that have always been present, waiting patiently for your recognition. The universe speaks not in words, but in the language of stillness, communicating through the profound quiet that exists between your thoughts. In these sacred moments of inner peace, wisdom flows naturally, like a spring emerging from untouched earth. Sacred practice. Find a space where you will not be disturbed. Sit comfortably and allow your breath to naturally slow. Feel yourself sinking deeper into stillness with each exhale. As thoughts arise, neither resist nor engage with them. Simply observe them passing like clouds across an endless sky. When you reach a state of profound quiet, feel the presence of the quantum void, the field of pure potential where all possibilities exist simultaneously. Rest in this stillness for as long as you can maintain it, knowing you are touching the source of all creation. Chapter 23, The Paradox of Detachment and Manifestation. In a bustling marketplace of old, there lived a merchant named Lucas, who had heard tales of a mystical feather said to bring fortune to its possessor. For years he traveled across distant lands, scaling mountains and crossing seas, always one step behind this elusive treasure. His obsession grew until it consumed his every thought, yet the feather remained forever out of reach. One evening, worn by years of fruitless searching, Lucas sat beneath a tree and surrendered. Perhaps, he whispered to himself, it was never about the feather at all. In that moment of letting go, as the last light of day painted the sky in gold, a gentle breeze carried a feather to his feet, the very one he had sought for so long. The universe operates through a profound paradox. That which you chase will forever elude you, while that which you release flows naturally into your experience. When you pursue manifestation with desperation, you create resistance that pushes your desire away. It is only in the space of surrender that your dreams can find you. In a quiet village lived a young woman named Olivia, known for her skill in weaving tapestries of extraordinary beauty. One day, while working on her masterpiece, she lost the perfect golden thread needed to complete her work. She searched frantically, turning her workshop upside down, but found nothing. Frustrated and tired, she decided to continue with different threads. The moment she accepted the loss, her eyes fell upon the golden thread which had been resting in plain sight all along. Your reality responds not to your wanting, but to your being. When you need something too desperately, you broadcast a frequency of lack that keeps you separated from your desire. True manifestation occurs in the delicate balance between wanting and letting go, holding your intention clearly while remaining unattached to how or when it arrives. Sacred practice. Choose something you have been trying to manifest. Close your eyes and feel the desire fully in your heart. Now, imagine this desire as a bird perched on your hand. Slowly, gently open your hand and watch as the bird flies free. Feel the peace that comes with release, knowing that what is truly yours will always return. Repeat this visualization whenever you feel attachment arising, remembering that the universe can only give to you when your hands are open to receive. Chapter 24. Unlocking the Superconscious Mind. In a time when science ruled supreme and mystery was cast aside, there lived a brilliant scientist named Xavier. Night after night, he would fall asleep at his desk, surrounded by equations he could not solve. Yet in his dreams, whispers would come, soft at first, then crystal clear, revealing answers that eluded his waking mind. These solutions, when tested in his laboratory, proved flawless, though he could never explain their source. You possess within you an intelligence far greater than your analytical mind. This superconscious awareness exists beyond thought, beyond reason. It is the same force that keeps your heart beating and the planets orbiting. It knows the shortest path to your desires because it exists outside of time, seeing all possibilities at once. When you quiet the endless chatter of your conscious mind, when you move beyond the programming of your subconscious, you tap into this infinite wisdom. The superconscious mind is not bound by your beliefs or limited by your past experiences. It operates from a realm of pure potential where all solutions already exist. In a distant land, a woman named Lillian found herself lost in an endless desert. The familiar stars by which she had always navigated were hidden behind clouds, save for one, a star she had never seen before. Though her rational mind warned against following an unknown light, something deeper urged her forward. With each step guided by this mysterious star, she discovered she was being led not just to safety, but to her true home, a place she had never known she was seeking. Your higher self communicates through intuition, through the quiet voice that speaks when your mind is still. It does not shout, it whispers. It does not force, it guides. Like Lillian's star, it leads you not just to your destination, but to your destiny. This inner wisdom flows like a gentle stream beneath the turbulent surface of your thoughts, carrying ancient knowledge that your conscious mind has yet to grasp. When you learn to listen, truly listen to this sacred voice within, you begin to recognize its familiar tone in every moment of divine synchronicity, in every unexplained knowing that proves true. It is the compass that has guided seekers throughout the ages, and it waits patiently for you to heed its call. Ancient practice. Before you sleep tonight, sit in perfect stillness. Close your eyes and speak to your superconscious mind as you would to a trusted friend. Ask for guidance about any challenge you face. Do not strain to hear an answer. Simply pose your question and drift into sleep, knowing that wisdom will come in its own perfect way. Whether through dreams, morning insights, or synchronistic events in your day, your superconscious will respond. Trust in this process, for the highest intelligence within you is always listening, always guiding, always showing you the way home. Chapter 25, Tuning into the Quantum Frequency of Miracles. In a valley between ancient mountains, there lived a farmer named Elias, who heard tales of miraculous fields where crops grew overnight, their stalks gleaming with golden light. Driven by curiosity, he journeyed far to find this legendary place. When he finally arrived, he discovered not enchanted soil, but farmers who understood a profound truth. They treated their fields as though abundance was inevitable. You stand at the threshold of understanding that miracles are not rare exceptions to natural law, but the expected outcome of proper alignment. Like a radio picking up a frequency, you are always tuned to some version of reality. When you align with the frequency of the miraculous, what others call supernatural becomes your natural state. The universe operates through immutable laws, and what appears as magic to some is simply the result of working in harmony with these laws. Just as gravity functions whether you understand it or not, the law of miraculous manifestation operates continuously, waiting only for your alignment to activate it in your experience. In a quiet town, there lived a young girl named Diana, who often passed an ordinary wall in her garden. One day, an elder told her of a magical door hidden within it. "The door has always been there," the elder said, "but it appears only to those who know it exists." Diana began to expect the door's presence, and one morning, there it stood, though it had been invisible to her every day before. This truth extends beyond mere metaphor. The miraculous exists all around you, waiting only for your recognition. When you shift your expectation from ordinary to extraordinary, reality has no choice but to conform to your new frequency. The door to the miraculous has always been there, but like Diana, you must first believe in its existence to see it. Ancient practice. Each morning, awaken with the absolute knowing that miracles are your natural state. Take 3 deep breaths and declare, I align with the frequency of the miraculous. What others call supernatural is natural to me. Throughout your day, maintain an unwavering expectation of divine synchronicity. Notice small miracles first. A perfect parking space, an unexpected call from a friend, a solution appearing just when needed. As you acknowledge these daily miracles, your capacity to experience greater ones expands. Remember, you are not creating miracles. You are simply tuning into the miraculous frequency that has always existed. Chapter 26. Transcending the Matrix of Limitation. In a distant land, there lived a man named Zachary who spent his days in chains. The iron links wrapped around his wrists and ankles, binding him to the cold stone walls of his prison. One morning, an old sage appeared at his cell window and spoke words that seemed like madness. Those chains exist only in your mind. Zachary laughed bitterly. These chains are steel, he said, rattling them against the wall. I feel their weight. I hear their sound. How can you say they are not real? The sage simply smiled and disappeared, leaving Zachary to ponder his words. Days turned to weeks, and Zachary began to question everything he believed about his imprisonment. One morning, in a moment of perfect clarity, he realized that he had never tested whether the chains were real. As this thought crossed his mind, the metal began to fade like morning mist, and he walked free. You must understand that every limitation binding you exists first in your mind. The walls you perceive, the barriers you accept, the boundaries you honor, all are projections of belief. The quantum field knows no limitations. It responds only to what you hold as truth. In a distant city, a woman named Renee found herself climbing an endless staircase. Each step led only to another, stretching infinitely upward. For years she climbed, believing this was the only way forward. One day, exhausted from her endless ascent, she stopped and looked around. In that moment of stillness, she saw what had always been true. There was no staircase, only the illusion of one. With this realization, she simply stepped through the air and found herself exactly where she needed to be. Like Renee, you have been climbing staircases that exist only in your mind. The limitations you perceive, whether in wealth, health, relationships, or achievement, are like her endless steps. They appear solid only because you believe them to be. Ancient practice. Sit in silence and bring to mind a limitation you believe to be true. Feel its weight, its substance, its reality. Let it fill your awareness completely, acknowledging how real and immovable it has seemed. Now imagine this belief as a hologram, a projection of light creating the illusion of solid form. Just as a mirage in the desert appears solid until examined closely, see how this limitation is merely light and shadow dancing in your mind. Watch as this hologram flickers and fades, its edges growing soft and transparent. Feel the truth that this limitation never existed except in your mind. It was always just a story you told yourself, reinforced by habit and repetition. In this moment of clarity, sense the infinite possibility that exists beyond this illusory barrier. Repeat this practice daily until the limitation dissolves completely from your consciousness, like morning mist evaporating in the warmth of dawn. Remember, you were never truly bound. You were simply convinced that you were. The chains that held you were forged in the workshop of your own thoughts. And what thought has made, thought can unmake. Chapter 27. Shape-shifting your identity to match your desire. In a distant marketplace there lived a young merchant named Julian who discovered a mysterious mask among his wares. The old woman who sold it to him whispered, "This mask holds great power. It can transform you into anything you wish to become." Julian, intrigued, placed the mask upon his face and imagined himself as a wise sage. To his amazement, wisdom flowed from his lips, and people gathered to hear his counsel. For months, Julian used the mask to become whatever he desired: a brave warrior, a skilled artisan, a wealthy trader. But one morning, as he reached for the mask, it crumbled to dust in his hands. Panicked, he rushed to find the old woman, only to discover a note where her shop had been. The power was never in the mask. It was in your belief that you could become something more. You must understand this fundamental truth. Reality does not respond to what you want to become. It responds to who you are being in this moment. Every version of yourself already exists in the quantum field. Your task is not to create these versions, but to step into them through the power of your consciousness. In a valley untouched by time, a young woman named Ivy knelt beside a still lake. As she gazed into its depths, she saw not one reflection, but many: herself as a healer, a teacher, a leader, an artist. Each time she focused on a different reflection, it became clearer while the others faded. A wise woman appeared beside her and said, "The lake shows you what already exists. Which version will you choose to believe in?" Like the lake's surface, your consciousness reflects back the version of yourself you most strongly believe in. You need not create a new self. You need only recognize and step into the self that already exists in the reality you wish to experience. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Close your eyes and see yourself as you wish to be, not as a distant future self, but as who you are in this moment. Feel how this version of you moves, speaks, thinks, and responds to life. Notice their posture, their energy, their certainty. Now open your eyes and begin to move as this version of yourself. How do they walk? How do they hold themselves? What thoughts fill their mind? What energy flows through their being? Spend time each day embodying this self, not as an act of pretense, but as a recognition of what already is. Remember, you are not becoming something new. You are acknowledging who you truly are. Chapter 28. The Power of Instant Decision and Reality Bending. In the ancient hills where wisdom whispers through the wind, there lived a traveler named Derek. Each morning, he would venture forth seeking new paths, until one day he encountered a peculiar sight, a fork in the road where countless paths stretched before him like threads of light. As Derek stood contemplating his choice, something strange began to occur. With each moment of hesitation, one path would fade and disappear, first slowly, then with increasing speed, until only two remained. Still he waited, weighing options, considering consequences, until even these began to dim. In that crucial moment, Derek understood. With unwavering certainty, he chose. The instant his decision crystallized in his mind, the chosen path materialized beneath his feet, solid and sure, while all others vanished into mist. You see, the universe does not respond to contemplation. It responds to decision. When you stand in the space of maybe, reality remains fluid, uncommitted. It is only through the power of choice that possibilities collapse into experience. In the halls of an ancient temple, a woman named Mara faced two doors. One stood locked, its surface carved with symbols of challenge and growth. The other lay open, offering a simpler path. As she stood weighing her options, doubt crept into her mind. Should she attempt to unlock the challenging door? Should she take the path of least resistance? As her indecision grew, a strange phenomenon occurred. Both doors began to fade. The more she hesitated, the more transparent they became, until finally they vanished completely, leaving only a blank wall. In that moment, Mara understood what you must now understand. The universe does not reward those who wait for perfect clarity. It responds to those who choose with conviction. The quantum field holds every possible reality, but it cannot manifest any of them until you make a decision. Your choice is the catalyst that collapses infinite possibility into tangible experience. Ancient practice. For the next 7 days, practice the art of instant decision. When faced with a choice, whether significant or mundane, give yourself 3 breaths. Within those 3 breaths, you must decide. Feel the power that comes from choosing without hesitation. Start with small decisions. What to wear, what to eat, which route to take. Begin training your decisive muscles with these seemingly mundane choices. Then gradually increase the importance of your choices, stepping into weightier matters of career, relationships, and life direction. Notice how reality begins to bend more readily around your decisive energy, how opportunities appear with increasing frequency, how synchronicities multiply in your path. Remember, the universe does not require you to choose perfectly. It requires you to choose completely with your whole being. When you commit fully to a decision, you activate forces far beyond your current understanding. Chapter 29. Awakening as a Quantum Architect. In the shadows of an ancient temple, there lived an architect named Samson, who dreamed of building a magnificent city. Each night he would sketch his plans by candlelight, yet something was missing. His designs, though perfect on paper, felt hollow. One evening, a mysterious figure appeared at his door. "Before you can build in stone," the stranger said, "you must first build in thought. The physical world follows the architecture of the mind." At first, Samson dismissed these words as mere philosophy, but as he sat before his drawings, he began to understand. He closed his eyes and allowed the city to form in his imagination, not just its structures, but its very essence. He felt the joy of children playing in its courtyards, heard the wisdom shared in its halls, sensed the peace that would permeate its gardens. And as his inner vision grew clearer, the path to manifestation revealed itself with surprising ease. You see, reality is not a random collection of events and circumstances. It is a precise reflection of the blueprint you hold within. Every thought, every emotion, every expectation serves as a cornerstone in the architecture of your experience. In a distant valley, there lived a woman named Iris who spent her nights dreaming of a world unlike any other. In her dreams, she saw gardens blooming in desert lands, strangers helping one another without hesitation, and wisdom flowing freely through the streets. At first, she believed these were merely dreams, but as she held these visions in her heart, something extraordinary began to happen. The flowers she had dreamed of started appearing in her garden. The kindness she had imagined began manifesting in her neighbors. The wisdom she had envisioned began flowing through her community. What Iris discovered, and what you must now understand, is that your inner world is the template for your outer reality. The universe does not give you what you want. It manifests what you design within. Ancient practice. Take a moment now to become the architect of your reality. Find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed. Take 3 deep breaths and allow your mind to clear. Now, begin to design your ideal world in detail. Write down every aspect, Not just what you want to have, but how you want to feel, what you want to experience, who you want to become. As you write, feel these elements as if they already exist. See them with your inner eye. Touch them with your inner hand. Know them with absolute certainty. This is not an exercise in fantasy. It is the first step in conscious reality creation. Let your design be both grand and specific. Include the sweep of your larger vision and the intimate details of daily life. Remember, the universe will manifest exactly what you blueprint. No more, no less. Chapter 30. The Ultimate Truth. You are the universe experiencing itself. In the ancient scrolls of wisdom, there lies a tale of a sailor named Gabriel who sought to understand the boundaries of the vast ocean. His quest led him to a teacher who, with gentle wisdom, offered him not an answer but an insight that would transform his understanding forever. Taking an earthen cup, the teacher drew water from the sea and placed it in Gabriel's hands. "Look closely," the teacher said. "This water appears separate, contained within the cup, yet it remains part of the ocean. Such is your relationship with the infinite." For many moons, Gabriel contemplated this teaching, carrying the cup with him on his journeys. Until one day, standing at the shore, he poured the water back into the sea. In that moment, he witnessed the truth. The water had never truly been separate. It had always been one with the ocean, just as he had always been one with the universe. You see, the greatest illusion that binds humanity is the belief in separation. You walk through life feeling small, contained, limited, like water in a cup. But this perceived separation is merely a dream within the infinite mind of creation. Consider Celeste, who found herself lost in an endless maze. In her dream, she wandered through countless passages, searching desperately for an exit. Her footsteps echoed through corridors that seemed to stretch into eternity. Fear gripped her heart as she turned corner after corner, finding only more paths, more choices, more confusion. But when she awakened, a profound realization dawned. She was not merely the one lost in the maze. She was the dreamer who created it. Every wall, every path, every dead end existed within her own consciousness. She had never been truly lost, for how can the Creator be lost in their own creation? This truth extends beyond dreams into what you call reality. Every experience you encounter, every circumstance you face, every reality you perceive, you are both its creator and its witness. You are not simply moving through life, you are the very force that generates it. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Begin to breathe deeply, allowing each breath to dissolve the illusion of separation. Feel the boundaries of your being starting to fade. With each inhale, draw in the essence of the universe. With each exhale, merge more completely with the infinite. Let go of the idea that you are a small self in a vast universe. Instead, feel the truth. You are the vastness itself, temporarily experiencing itself as an individual. Like water returning to the ocean, allow your consciousness to merge with the all that is. Maintain this state of unity consciousness for as long as you can. When thoughts arise, remember, they too are movements within your infinite self. You are not separate from existence. You are existence itself, expressing itself as you. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. As you reach these final words, pause for a moment. Let the truth settle into your being, not as new knowledge, but as remembered wisdom stirring from the depths of your soul. What has been shared in these pages was never meant to be mere information. These teachings are ancient echoes of what your spirit has always known. They are keys unlocking doors that were never truly locked, revealing pathways that have always existed. And think back to every parable, every teaching, every practice. Each story was a mirror, reflecting different aspects of your own infinite nature. When you read of Elijah seeing his city transform, you recognized your own power to shift reality. When Henry witnessed the stars move in response to his gaze, you remembered your role as the observer who shapes existence. As Noah discovered the vibrational nature of reality, you felt the resonance of this truth within your own being. These were not simply tales, they were awakening calls to your true nature. The locksmith who held the key to all possibilities, that was you. The artist whose paintings manifested into reality, also you. The dreamer who created worlds, still you. You see, this book did not give you power. It reminded you of the power you have always possessed. Every word on these pages has been leading you to this singular realization. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself through human form. When you move, reality moves. When you shift your perception, the world reshapes itself. When you change your vibration, existence rearranges to match it. This is not magic or miracle. It is the natural law of being. You are now standing at the threshold of conscious creation. The reality you desire is not something to be reached. It is something to be chosen, here and now. You need not wait for permission, for the right moment, or for some external force to align. You are the force. You are the alignment. You are the moment. Every breath you take is creating. Every thought you think is manifesting. Every feeling you hold is shaping the quantum field. This is not theory. This is the fundamental nature of existence, and you are its source. Let this understanding sink deep into your consciousness. You are not reading about reality creation. You are reality itself, becoming aware of its own creative power. The world you see around you is not separate from you. It is an extension of you, moving as you move, changing as you change. Your journey of awakening has brought you full circle, back to the truth you have always known, back to the power you have always held, back to the creator you have always been. If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.